mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the turtle monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Asimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, a Tomb of Annihilation campaign happening every Sunday night right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is episode 53, Salt of the Earth. We are rapidly approaching, I think within the next 2 weeks, will be our official 2-year anniversary of me streaming on Twitch and this campaign, which was the first game that we started. And already there's that meta subscription from Dice on Ice, going to go ahead and bump you up to 20 domain dice, which is a good jumping off point to tell those of you watching what domain dice are. You can watch the scroll along the bottom of the screen, or you can type in domain, ! domain. I think just typing domain dice also brings up the information. Excuse me. And that is that the dice is our way of letting you, the viewer, have a little bit of influence on the game. The players can spend 1 domain dice, or in this game, Domain Devil, to re-roll a d20. They can spend 2 to make me re-roll a d20, 3 to get some healing outside of a rest by using hit dice. 4 domain dice will turn a failed death saving throw into a success, unless it's a critical failure. Then it will take 8 domain dice to undo that wrong. And for 5 domain dice, you can invoke the patron's blessing on a successful hit. You can spend those 5 domain dice and turn that hit into a super crit, which is an automatic double max damage attack. And speaking of domain devils, I'm actually wearing one. Newly released in the Mini-Terrain Domain merch store and available now, link in the chat or in the panel down below, or if you're watching VODs, you can see it in the description on YouTube. We have a variety of shirts and stickers and stuff available over there at that link. So check that out. Oh, by the way, the domain dice, the way you can get domain devils for the players is like Dice on Ice did by subscribing to the channel for 19 months, which is pretty awesome. Resubscribing, also a $5 tip or a 500-bit cheer will earn the players domain devils. Real quick, you can type in Jasper, ! Jasper, or ! Good Lord, I can't talk. ! Coffee. There's also panels down below for Jasper's Game Day and Coffee that will take you to some partners that we have. Jasper's Game Day, you can donate directly to that organization that is dedicated to raising awareness of and elimination of suicide through tabletop gaming. And Initiative Coffee Company, you can purchase Metadare Roast Coffee, a wonderful medium Brazilian and Peruvian roast coffee. For every 12-ounce bag that you purchase, $3 of that purchase goes to benefit Jasper's Game Day. Shout out to D&D Beyond for powering the mini terrain domain Dungeons & Dragons streams through granting us insider access. That is why you can mouse over the screen at any time and see a real-time update of the character's conditions, hit points, if they're in death saving throw status, and you can click through on those and see even more information about the characters that they are playing, which they are currently playing some level 10 heroes. The last thing that I want to say, and I'm going to pop this in the chat real quick, is that if you are struggling and you need somebody to talk to, first of all, we want you to know that you matter. We say it every week, we say it every stream, but we we repeat it because we mean it. And if you find yourself in this situation and you really need somebody to talk to, there are trained professionals available to you through a variety of services, some of which we have provided in the chat by simply typing !help. You can, in America, you can call the National Suicide Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or you can text 741-741. In Canada, you can text CONNECT for English or PARLER for French to 686-868. Or, if you would prefer to talk to somebody directly in French or English, you can call toll-free 1-833-456-4566, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is for our Canadian friends. We really encourage you to utilize those services that are available to you if you need them. There's absolutely no shame in that. And remember, if you've forgotten what that is, every couple minutes it shows up in the scroll down below, the contact information, or you can type !help. So with that, I think I just got through announcements in record time. We're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to get into the game. So, in the last session, still, nobody has died. No matter how hard I try to kill these characters, they're still surviving. They've even picked up a new friend along the way in Taliel. They've been with Taliel now for the better part of a day, as they have taken a long rest at some point in here. Or did you? Have you guys taken a long rest together since you met Taliel? I don't remember. You took a short rest.
I think we took a long rest after the Mimic incident, but before we met Taliel.
Yes, okay. Because it's at this point, it's only been about maybe like 3 hours since you took your long rest. So you have taken a short rest, but you fought alongside one another, had some pretty close calls. Briefly jumped into the mouth of a grinning green devil face to skip a level, quickly decided nope, and crawled back up through the hole in the ceiling to go back to the level you were on, where you have managed to discover a hallway that ended in one of the Trickster God tombs, but all of you smelled trap, along with the smell of wine. Using a particular set of skills, Brilinya was able to see through the walls using ghostly gaze and determine that there is indeed some sort of trap. Though they don't fully understand the mechanism, they have a good sense that they were in danger of flooding this room with wine. But Brilinya, also using the ghostly gaze, was able to learn that there was a room to the south, though they were not able to find a direct entrance into that room. They discovered a circular hallway outside this room that led them to another version of the tomb that appeared to be in the past, because the body they had discovered, a former companion of Taliel, was suddenly alive, being chased by tomb dwarves. They fought the tomb dwarves and killed them, but The wizard friend, half goat, half man, was killed. They decided, they took a very brief foray, discovered a room in which there were some zombies sticking their head out of a door. They decided not to mess with it and instead go back to, quote unquote, their tomb. And sure enough, the zombies were there. There's a wonderful clip available on Twitch of me scaring the bejesus out of Kaeryn as Taliel walked up to investigate. And sure enough, the zombies came out and nearly bit her face off. They made quick work of that area, were able to get in there, deal with the zombies, check out the room, and they're not entirely sure how what they did or how they did it, but the room they proceeded through the room with very little incident. Were able to get a hold of many of the treasures, resisting the trickster god spirit, and Vale found himself an amulet of health in addition to some other items. Taliel discovered a hidden door in the wall, walked into a narrow cobweb-filled hallway in which there was apparently some sort of genie in a bottle. And without even hesitating, she opened the bottle, releasing the genie, who immediately was thankful of this. I believe the genie did tell you that Keshma Al-Wazir was indebted to you for freeing her. And then she vanished. You are left now in this narrow hallway with a now empty table and empty genie bottle. The hallway is 25 feet across. This alcove was on the south wall partway through, and you could see on the eastern end of this hallway there appears to be the backside of a door leading into another room. Based on the way you've progressed so far, you're pretty confident that this other room is in the direction of, if not the room, that was just at the edge of Brilinya's ghostly gaze. And that is where we pick up. What would you like to do? Taliel, you're primarily the one that's in here. I don't know if anybody came in behind you as you freed the genie, but...
Once the genie is left, Taliel would, I think, replace the bottle where it was, turn and look back down the hall to see where the others are, and then her curiosity right now is getting to her about the door on the other end, so we'll head towards that way.
All right, it's just a mere 10 feet in front of you through cobwebs that are draping heavily through this hall. They don't stick, but they do fall across your shoulders and pass like wispy curtains in front of your face as you reach the back side of this door that leads to you don't know where. What would you like to do?
I'd like to open it, actually.
All right. A bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. You press firmly on the section of wall and it opens into a room. This room, you see, is 40 feet across from where you stand along its western wall, looking to the eastern wall. The room is about a little more than 60, maybe 70 feet north to south. The southern wall, the entire 40 feet, is basically a 40 feet width. There's a circular wall. So basically picture like that was a very poor description. The southern wall is rounded like this. So at its deepest point, it's about 70 feet. Dead center in this room, you see a sarcophagus. You've been seeing a lot of those lately. This particular sarcophagus happens to be in the middle of 5 pillars that form the points of an inverted pentagram. The entire pentagram and the circle around it is traced on the floor in salt. Thick lines of salt, nearly a foot in width, form the circle, a perfect circle going from pillar to pillar to pillar, and actually wrapping around the pillars, creating an unbroken circle. And then from pillar to pillar to pillar to pillar to pillar, about 6-inch thick lines of salt form the pentagram. And again, in the dead center is this sarcophagus. This room reeks. All of you behind Taliel can smell this scent wafting in as it reeks of sulfur and brimstone. Taliel, you see lined across the surface of the sarcophagus along its lid, it is covered in figurines of what look to be small humanoids, though from this distance you can't quite make out what they are. It is worth noting that as this door has opened, the edge of the ring of salt in the pentagram is a mere 6 feet in front of you. What would you like to do?
I will wait here until the rest finish in the other room and catch up. I'm in fact really looking for Brilinya because I remember she wrote all this things down from the plaque.
I think after a while, Brilinya would notice that Taliel was gone and see this door open and wander down and see you at the end of it looking into this room. Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. I do have to admit, this is probably the most ominous room that I have come across here so far.
And Brilinya would look and see this and, yeah. Although none of these hints really make sense with this room right away. The ring is a path to another tomb. We have that one.
Mm-hmm.
The dead of poor sunlight. That could be the zombies at the door. Or it could have been that, the wine room we were in. The next is only a jewel contained the frog. Bow is the dead god intoned, which was the last room. And into darkness descend, which is that.
Guessing it's the mouth that we, yeah.
Brilinya and Taliel are at the door. Where are Qualu and Vale? Have you come into the room? Are you at the mouth of the room?
Qualu is just in the precipice of the room, even maybe outside the room slightly. Just looking around, making sure that nothing's going to sneak up behind us. Just kind of looking around, scuffing, kicking rocks at the dirt.
What do you mean? Would you say kicking rocks at the dirt?
In the dirt, yes.
Okay.
He's trying to aim at the dirt to get rocks into it. Yeah, he's playing soccer with
I'd probably just be like, after getting the amulet of health, just kind of like wandering around, looking at things, seeing what I don't know, kind of not really rushing into anything, just kind of wandering around until I guess maybe I'll like wander near where the other two are going, just in case they need help. So I'm kind of close by.
Vale, you hear in your mind that now familiar voice of Obalaka. Be careful. Be careful of the salt. Do you have any salt? You could always add more salt. It looks like it's thin over there. Maybe pour more salt. Make the salt thicker. Pile it up. Fill the room with salt.
I don't have any salt, tiny, scared thing. What's the salt for?
I don't know, but I feel like it should
actually,
have more.
Hang on. Great, yeah. No, hang on a minute. And I'll walk into the room with the other two just to Right, say that again.
More salt, please. Please.
More salt.
We need more salt. If you could, just fill the room with salt. I've seen you do magic.
Well, I don't exactly have a conjure salt thing. I mean, I guess Ubtao must have forgot to teach me that one, considering that there's so many other things that he could have been teaching me how to not die. Adding a flavoring onto my food was like the very last thing that he kind of taught me. So,
Taliel, you notice that Vale is apparently having a one-sided conversation with himself.
Yeah, Taliel is kind of looking very curiously at this now crazy man who's gone into this room and is now talking about the salt and not really paying attention to where he's going. And she turns to Brilinya and kind of gives her that look like, is he always like this?
It's been pretty common lately. In the tomb, yeah.
What's wrong with him?
We think he's been possessed by one of the gods. Oh, don't worry, it doesn't seem to do anything. It just makes him a little nervous.
And as you were walking into the room, Vale, and talking to yourself, I think Taliel's going to actually pull it out a hand to stop you from walking too far and crossing the salt that's on the floor.
yeah, I believe I'd just be like muttering a bit, and then once you put a hand, I kind of look down and right, yeah. Apparently, Obalaka, he's a interesting character that's in my skull, which sounds a lot crazier when you say it out loud. He wants to make sure that we pack on as much salt as possible. And he doesn't know why that there's salt here or what the salt is for, but given how that he's a borderline coward, yeah, you heard me. Given that he's a borderline coward, it would be a nice idea to make sure that it's, poured on thick, much like your incessant whining.
If you need more salt, Vale, I could punch you, then you can cry.
It's just not how it works, and I wouldn't cry anyway. I think I'd be more afraid of those stones you're kicking.
Qualu, you've noticed as you were sort of just staying out of the immediate vicinity, kicking rocks towards the corner, looking back, you notice that the figurines that are on the sarcophagus, and Taliel, of course, you notice this as well. It's you and Qualu that notice this. The figurines all across the sarcophagus all appear to be little prancing frogs. in various states of dance. Those of you that remember your stories of the trickster gods may have then figured out whose tomb this is.
Those are some pretty frogs. Oh, right there. Look, they look like they're dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Only a jewel contained the frog. Weren't there jewels in our previous room? Tons of treasure.
I mean, there was plenty of gold things, but there was no large jewels or anything.
Let's see, what was the treasure? Nope. You had the gold torque, the 3 gold cups, the 5 gold cloak pins, and the amulet of health.
Does it look like a jewel?
Does what look like a jewel?
The amulet of health that fills.
It does have a heart-shaped ruby in the middle of it.
It does, yeah.
Taliel would look to the rest of them. Have you guys found any jewels that that clue might pertain to?
Not really. I mean, I'm sure I think we found a few small rubies and other things here and there, but nothing that would stand out and say, yep, this is the jewel you would give a large deified amphibian.
You said the south wall was rounded, right? Like it's a concave wall.
Correct.
Can you get to it without crossing the salt?
Yeah,
lines?
so basically you can get anywhere in this room outside of the circle, completely circumnavigating the circle at its closest point, which is near the door that you came in and on the east wall. It's about 5 to 6 feet. It's actually 5 feet at its closest point. You're just a hair north of the closest point.
And is there anything on the walls themselves, or are they fairly bare?
The walls in this room are indeed bare.
Okay. Taliel is going to enter the room and go towards that southern wall.
Okay.
And start examining it.
All
For
right.
anything really.
Give me an investigation check. Qualu, I would like a wisdom saving throw at advantage.
So that's an 8 on the investigation. Unless I'm
walls-
looking for a dart, in which case I get to have advantage.
The walls are very...
Use a domain die. Use a domain die.
The walls are very smooth, and there's no indication of any recesses, secret doors, traps, or anything.
I got a 10 on my wisdom saving throw.
You feel, Qualu, the mace of terror. You feel it vibrating, and you sense that tendril of Wongo, the spirit of the Sioux monster, sort of, for a moment, just for a moment, it almost looks like a rapid disturbance. A little anachronistic. It has a sort of static glitch as it seems to next to your ear, and you hear in that Wongo voice, destroy the salt. It's evil. Destroy it. And it just as quick, it's gone. Vale, actually, everybody make me an insight check. Taliel, do so at disadvantage.
13.
15.
Nine for me.
You said insight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I rolled a 1 on the die because of disadvantage, so that's a 3.
Brilinya, one thing, and this because it's been going through your head, and as you've been looking through your notes, and you've got this sort of rough sketch of where you've been previously, thinking about the fact of where you've used your devil's sight or your ghostly gaze, and using that, the balcony, the big 40-foot across balcony as a sort of central hub as you've been descending. You remember from the previous level that you were in the tomb of Obalaka. You've been there a couple times because you took respite there. That was further west of the central hub of the balcony. Yet, since you've been on this floor, you have been to a devil-faced room that was north of the hub. You went to the wine-trapped room that was east of it. You went to the zombie room that was south of it. And you went into this room, which was southeast of it. You have not seen any doors or pathways that have led you to the west. Now, it could be nothing, but it's just a fleeting thought as you're thinking about this dungeon layout.
Guys, I think there might be something that we missed. Maybe a room on this floor. To the west of here. Could be nothing, but should we check it out?
Can't see why not.
Paulu has paced up to the edge of this salt circle. He's kind of just looking down at it. What does the salt circle mean? What if I kicked it?
Don't touch it, please, Kwazu.
I believe it to be of very much importance, and importance to keep us alive. So, I mean, if you want us all to die, then yeah, go for it.
I wouldn't if I were you.
But it's just salt.
Has anything in this temple been just anything? Just a painting? Just a scary devil mask?
I mean, to be honest, I think there was a wall back there that was just a wall.
I think Kwalu will kind of like reach down and try to get like one grain of the salt on the tip of his finger.
Brilinya, if she can get to him, she would, and she's going to slap his hand away.
So you're trying to break the salt circle, and Brilinya.
No. I'm not trying to break this, unless the salt circle is exactly 1 grain thick, which I highly doubt. He's just trying to get 1 grain of salt. Just want to see if it's like poison to his finger or something, you know?
All right.
Regular salt.
Make an opposed dexterity check.
All right, I rolled a 2 for a total of 3.
I got a 14.
You are able to get to him as just as he's reaching, and you slap his hand out of the way.
Don't touch anything.
Do we just go around the circle then?
We figure out what this riddle means first, and then you can touch the salt.
The riddle is what? A jewel can tame frogs?
Only a jewel can tame the frog.
But the frogs, they're dancing, but they're what, made of wood? I don't care about those frogs.
The frog, there is also a frog within the sarcophagus. Nyang Nyang? Is that his name?
Nang Nang is
You-
correct.
Do you fear Nang Nang?
I'm wary of everything in here.
Yeah, it would. That would be-
Somebody feared Yang Yang because they put him inside a salt circle.
But what if it is a trick? What if the salt circle is a trick to dissuade ones like us? Dissuade means to push away, yes?
Why don't we find out for sure first before we...
I will go inside and I will step inside to see.
Maybe not.
All right. Before you do that, though, and Berlinya's gonna walk to that hallway.
Taliel is going to also follow Brilinya. I think I'll go to the other room while you do that.
What exactly?
Don't you want to see what happens?
Did you say you were going to wipe away the salt?
He's just making idle threats right now, just to see what.
Okay, I just
everyone else
want
is
to
saying.
make sure I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah, I've not declared any action.
I'm dropping a frame like every few minutes, and it makes your guys' voice go out. So I'm just making sure I heard what you said. So Taliel and Brilinya have moved cautiously into the hallway. Vale, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand there and wait to see what Qualu does.
All
I'll
right,
stand near him, wait to see what sort of stupidity he's about to
Qualu,
do.
where are you in the room? Give me a clock position on this pentagram. Keeping in mind that you came in at the 9 o'clock position. You came in on the west wall, so that would be...
Gotcha, yeah.
I just
Cool.
realized I'm asking millennials to tell analog time. I'm just kidding.
No, I'd probably just be on, the west side of the pentagram then.
So
Yeah.
really close to that hallway door.
Yeah, I just stepped in and took a look at it.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Qualu claps Vale on the back. You say you do not cry. They think something dangerous is inside the circle. Step inside. Show me you do not cry. Show me you're not scared of dancing frogs.
We live in a world where one person at the snap of their fingers can cause a giant ball of fire to come crashing down out of nowhere. We live in a world where an individual can go into a room full of near-dead people and walk out with a room full of living, happy people. If there's a bit of salt on the ground, and I have heard that it is a ward of protection, you better believe I'm not going to touch that salt. But if you're stupid enough to not believe that powerful magics exist for a reason, then by all means, big man, go step in that circle and let's see what you've got. But
You say salt is protection, yes?
yeah,
Why would a Sararak have a word of protection?
he could have summoned something.
What if thing inside this word of protection is his enemy? He wants to keep warded away. If we break the prison of his enemy, we have new friend, yes? If you say, I see just wooden figurines of dancing frogs. If he hates dancing frogs so much, perhaps that is his weakness, is dancing frogs. He wards them away so that adventurers like us who walk into his trap of death will not go rescue dancing frogs that will undo him.
Right, well, I wanted to stand around to see if you do something dumb or have the good sense to walk out of here. But I'm walking out of here. If you want to kick that thing open or do whatever you like, you go right ahead.
Qualu has an urge to kick away the dust, kick away this dirt. But Qualu knows that urges lead only to two things: children and death. And Qualu wants neither of those. So Qualu will walk away.
Yeah, right.
So Qualu suppresses his urge, and apparently everybody has walked away back into the hallway, doing nothing in this room. All right. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
Maybe we should go and look and see if there's another room to the west.
could do that.
I think that's a good idea.
Brilinya will cautiously go out of the room with the paintings and into the balcony.
All right. Yeah. So you're not going to go out to the balcony. You're going to go into the room with the chariot and the golden sarcophagus, the shield, the pieces, and the statues, but the heavy stone door is closed. It required both
That's
Vale and
right.
Qualu to lift.
Brilinya resolutely goes out to the door. You hear a pause. Can I get some help with the door?
Yeah, give you a hand. And I will do just that.
So are Vale and Brilinya opening the door, or
Let's
Vale,
give her.
Brilinya, what's your strength score?
Nah, it's a 7.
Vale, what's your strength score?
18.
Yeah, it's not. Brilinya doesn't have enough strength to assist you.
I think Brilinya would break her
You need
arm.
assistance, Vale. Are you not strong enough?
No, come on. Give us a hand then. Or do you feel like you could do it on your own?
I do not gloat in my own strength. I know the value of teamwork and companionship when it is needed. And he'll go to help Vale lift it up.
All right, you don't need to make any kind of a check. The two of you, your strength is enough to work together and heave this door open. As Brilinya, you're standing there, and this door, you watch as they, and you hear the loose chains now that were previously attached to zombies, are kind of rattling around. As they heave this door open, you see on the other side of the door a skeleton standing there. And though it has no expression, it turns, seeming surprised that the wall has just opened up next to it. But this is no ordinary skeleton. This skeleton has a huge square section of iron extending up out of its head. This appears to be another skeleton key. And I'm going to see if it's how surprised it is. It's pretty surprised, so it doesn't get a sudden attack on the two of you. But Qualu and Vale, you sort of, as you heave this door up and look, you see that you're now both holding this heavy door open, and there is another one of these skeleton keys standing directly in front of you. What are you going to do? You know from your previous encounter with these things, they're pretty brittle.
I think that almost like reflexes would happen to Qualu, and he'll just like reach out and try to kick it while still holding up the door. I don't know if it's that close, if it's within like 5 feet, but he'll just
It's
try to
only
arm
a
him straight.
5-foot opening. That hallway was of the balcony is only 5 foot across. I'm going to have you make this attack at disadvantage because you are lifting a heavy door.
Yep, I'm just gonna instinctive just kick it. All right. At disadvantage, that is a 17 to hit,
All right.
doing 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
It fails its dexterity check. You kick this skeleton. It hits the banister. It doesn't break the banister, but it tumbles over it. Falling, and somewhere distant echoing, you hear the crash of the skeleton, and you hear the metallic ringing sound of its iron-fused head hitting the ground down below. It's no longer a threat.
Oh, that skeleton scared me.
I wish you hadn't have kicked it down into nowhere. The thing was a key that we could have
We'll
used.
then have to just go down there to get the key, no? There are stairs here.
Yeah. Right, come on.
All right, so everybody's heading back out into the hallway. So you find yourselves once again out in the balcony hallway. You are at the midway point of the south wall. To the west is a set of stairs that descend down to the next level. And the southwestern corner and all along the west wall appears to be just blank wall.
Brilinya would like to go up to that section at the top of the stairs and just have a look at the wall, maybe even lightly brushing it with her hands,
Sure.
looking at the different bricks.
Give me an investigation check.
Okay, that's a 13.
As far as you can tell, it appears to be the same kind of stone that makes up the rest of this area. The rest of you see Brilinya head to this corner and just start sort of inexpertly running her hands along the brick and just sort of like looking up and down and not appearing to find anything.
Taliel would almost immediately have gone to help her with that, seeing what she is doing. You think there might be something here on this wall?
It was just a guess. It doesn't really look like there's anything, at least what I can see. And she would back away to allow you to look if you wanted.
Yeah, Taliel would, because you were pretty convinced that there was that the west and that we're missing something here. So she's going to check out the spot that you were inexpertly looking, I guess.
All right, make an investigation check with advantage.
That will be an 18. Sorry, 17.
You are checking the wall, and you notice, Brilinya, that Taliel approaches much more methodically, scanning the surface of the wall, placing her face close and looking along it, listening, feeling. She appears to be using multiple senses and tracing along the edges of the various bricks. And Taliel, you, after doing this and sort of scanning along, you watch as Taliel's hand sort of zeroes in on one brick in particular. And you feel, Taliel, there's a slight give to this brick. Would you actually press it in?
I would press it in, yes.
There's a the door slides to the left, revealing a roughly 5-foot hallway, just a few steps in, and then you see that there is a 10-foot by 10-foot room that is filled almost entirely with a circular basin of water. Smooth walls are all around this chamber.
As soon as Brilinya sees the water, she immediately turns to Taliel and says, "Whatever you do, don't drink it. Even if Vale does and everything turns out fine, just don't drink the water."
Taliel gives you kind of a curious look. Obviously, there is a story there that she's not aware of, but she'll nod. Seems you were right. There's something here. And she would actually go into that hallway and down into that room.
Yeah, and it's just a few steps. It's literally like a 5-foot hallway, and then you're in this 10-foot by 10-foot room that is mostly this basin of water. Are you doing anything in particular?
Is there anything in the water?
You look into the water and you see its smooth surface. And you see your face reflected in the water. And then you see your image begin to swirl. And the water itself begins swirling. Roll me a d6.
1.
All right. Where the you see just a moment what you see. All right, you see suddenly you're looking at a stone sarcophagus. Your vision has you looking down at this stone sarcophagus. There's a slight tilt. As it appears you are seeing through the eyes of something or someone, and their head appears to be looking around the room. You see the south, the west, and the north walls of this room. There are stone thrones in alcoves. One to the south appears to be pulled out away from the wall, revealing a pathway that leads down some stairs. Another is open to the north. The view shifts and turns 180 degrees until you are looking at a shattered crystal window. Your vision, with a slight bobbing motion, begins to move forward through this shattered window. And you hear, with every slight bob, this as whatever it is appears to be stepping. About 20 feet down the hallway, there is a wide hallway to your right. The view glances to the left. There is a grinning devil face in the wall with a pitch black darkness in its mouth. The view comes to the balcony. Looking down deep into the depths of the balcony, you see levels down below. You're walking around the balcony until you see, opposite that other passageway you came through, a small alcove that you recognize. There's a skull in the wall with flaming lights in its eyes. This is the very skull and alcove you were hiding in when the party discovered you. It moves back around, a little further around, and glances down a narrow hallway where there's an immobile adamantine fan blade. You can just make out 3 chests on the opposite side in a room. One of black onyx, one of rusted iron, and one of frosted silver. Suddenly, the gaze... You see a massive hand pass in front of the vision. This hand appears to be made from some human and some other creature's fingers sewn together. Armor, rusted, pitted, and bloody, as it reaches up and appears to hit itself in the head. Another fist made of different colored fingers of different skin tones. Suddenly the vision is blocked as 2 bald fists go as whatever it is seems to be reacting very strongly to whatever is happening to it. Then, in a very disconcerting moment, you see this thing swivel its view around. And you are looking into your own face from underneath water. The rest of you watch as this basin of water, the surface of it, explodes outward. Water going everywhere. Taliel, you're thrown backwards against the wall, and you see a massive form rising up out of the water as this creature begins to emerge. I will find it. It is... Where did it go? As this creature emerges... Oh, come on. Here we go. You see those same hands that you saw in front of your vision, with wrists with chains coming from massive gauntlets, padlocks hanging off of the chains, spiked pauldrons rising up, a bucket helmet with eye slits inside it. As it rises up, you see, where is it? As it rises up, you see the eyes that are staring at you, and you recognize these eyes. Though you don't recognize this creature, this patchwork creature. The eyes staring back at you are those of Seward, one of your former companions. And I need you all to roll for initiative.
$15 for me.
Uh, 15 for Leo. Vale, what'd you get?
Oh, put it in chat, but I got a 12.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, I think they're all in chat now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, 13 for Qualu, 12 for Vale. Brilinya is a 6, and open link. There we go. So that is a total of, okay, so he's got a -1. Okay. Seward the Tomb Guardian will be going first, followed by Taliel, Qualu, Vale, and Brilinya. He continues his rise up out of the water, and as soon as he finishes, this water dripping from him, and you know there was a bottom, Taliel. This fountain, this pool had a bottom, a mere 18 inches below it, and it still appears to have a bottom. It lunges at you with its spiked gauntlets, Taliel. Oh my gosh. It crashes into the wall next to you, and its spiked fist is lodged in the wall. Taliel, as per the MTD rules of critical fails, you are granted an opportunity attack at close range.
Sweet. Does that give me a chance to like pull the weapon and
Yes.
hit.
Drawing a weapon is always part of your action. It's an object interaction.
Okay. Then she would grab that, unsheath her long sword, and strike at this thing as it kind of, I guess, moves towards her yet misses, and its back is now to her. She will strike at it with her long sword.
As a reminder,
Mhm.
for all attacks in the dungeon, I need to know what attacks are magical and what type of magical attacks they are. Or if
Okay,
they're
this-
mundane.
This is a magical longsword.
Okay.
That will be a 14 to hit.
That is going to, as you rapidly and almost clumsily pull this sword out, you strike at it and you only strike its armor. You hear that metallic ring. Then you see the second fist flying towards you. And oh my gosh, I thought that was another one. But this is going to be a it comes in just missing you as it pulls its fist free. Now, for the rest of you, as a reminder, or just so we can picture this, this is a very small room. It's 10 feet by 10 feet. The Guardian is standing in the water of the fountain. It is in the middle of the room. Taliel, it is your turn.
Taliel, being right there, facing it, she is going to unleash upon it. So I'm going to again try to attack with that longsword. I have an extra attack, so she'll do it twice.
All right.
So 15 and 20, dirty 20.
The 15 again connects with this patchwork of plate armor and slides off, but you're able to run it up and find some exposed flesh. Looking up into this thing's face, you do see the eyes that stare back at you no longer appear to be those of Seward. They appear to be mismatched. In fact, half of its face appears to be the dark skin of the Chultans, of many of the Chultans in the area. The other half of its face appears to be the pale white of someone from another land. But your 20 does strike it.
Perfect. And she is wielding this two-handed, by the way.
All right.
Okay, so that is a total of 5 magical damage.
All right. 5 magical slashing, right?
Yes, magical slashing.
All right.
And I would like to use my action surge
Okay.
at this point to again attack.
Perfect.
So 2 more attacks. Oh, so the first one is 16 to hit.
Your sword rings off of its armor once again. This thing is covered in shifting plates of piecemeal plate armor. The 16 does miss.
Okay, and the second one is a 1. So could I use a domain die?
You can use a domain die at any time. But yes, absolutely. You can use a domain die to re-roll that 1. That is the best case scenario for using a domain die. So remove that one.
Okay, that's much better. That is a 22 to hit.
Yes, that absolutely hits. As you start to strike and realize that this thing is covered mostly in plate, you shift and you find a place where the plate armor opens, allowing your blade to penetrate.
And that is 7 points of slashing magical damage as she connects with it finally.
Excellent. Brilinya. No, Qualu, you are up.
It is time to bring the pain, Qualu thinks in his head, as he draws forth his staff of striking, and pushes forward to the front to try and batter this thing, if he can, and wail upon it.
All right.
This is how big is this being?
It looks to be a good, at least equal in size to you.
All right.
It's considered a medium
person. Awesome. He will activate his fighting spirit, giving him 10 temporary hit points and getting advantage on his attack rolls this turn.
Perfect.
Bonus action. He'll strike first time with a 22 to hit.
Absolutely hits.
Attack will be a 24 to hit. So
2 solid hits that ring out as you strike it in vulnerable spots.
The first hit, he will spend 3 charges of his staff of striking, doing so he does 12 regular magical bludgeoning, and then 13 points of force for the first hit.
That's the first hit?
Yes.
Okay.
And his second hit will be a mere 12 points of magical bludgeoning. And that is my turn.
Sorry, I keep pulling my headphones off because it sounds something in our neighborhood has set off every dog. And then I remembered I don't have a dog, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, so that's the end of your turn. You watch as Qualu steps in with this staff, and the staff seems to move audibly through the air. You hear this rushing sound as it seems to almost accelerate with the magical energies as he's striking with it. And you see, when it hits, you actually knock a couple of the plates loose. One of the plates you sort of jam into, it breaks loose, and the end of your staff just sort of shoves it into this patchwork skin of this creature, dealing all this damage to it. And it is now Vale's turn.
So I'm going to go ahead and rush in and attack. Rush and Attack, one of my favorite video games from the 80s. Oh, thank God someone... I was hoping someone would get that. All these damn young kids.
If you didn't say something, I probably would have.
Yeah, including Kaeryn, the youngest of all of them. All right, first one is going to be a 15 to hit.
That will miss.
All right. Then I will
Or
attack
rather,
again.
you strike the armor, and you're attacking with your rapier, correct?
I am.
Yeah, your rapier just hits and almost bends, like, just sharply in these close quarters, in danger of breaking, though it does not.
Hell no, it's magic. Because magic. Okay, this one's a bit better. This will be an 18 to hit.
You quickly snap the blade back, lunge in, and perfectly slide it between 2 plates and feel it sink into flesh.
So, now, is this critter considered undead?
It is not considered undead. It appears to be constructed from other individuals. It is a living being. It is bleeding as you are wounding it. And it does appear to be a being that has been constructed by somebody else.
Fair.
You can literally see where the flesh has been sewn together.
All right, so it's like that gross-ass centipede movie, but not
There's
quite.
only one of them.
Well,
they're
not really.
They're not sewn Well,
it's one of them made up of bits of others. So to be fair, there is that. But anyway, I'm going to use a divine smite. So first, it is 12 points of magical piercing damage.
all right.
Und then we're gonna we're gonna follow that up with 16 points of radiant damage.
All right.
Can't believe I just rolled 2 8s. These are my favorite d8s now.
Nice.
Yeah. And I don't know, that's my turn. I'm gonna stare defiantly at him. Give him a stink eye.
Vale puts a wallop on this creature, Brilinya, and it is your turn.
With hands outstretched, Brilinya, and these quarters are so cramped, I imagine she's like trying to like get an opening, with everyone just kind of wailing on this thing. And eventually she does find one, and she takes advantage of it as this huge bolt of light. And this one is much larger than the ones you've seen her before with her Elder's Blast. This one, and it seems much more radiant than the others because it is guiding bolt. She is going.
All right. At what level?
Okay. 5. Warlocks automatically cast at the highest level. Is that
Yes,
right?
you
When use a
automatically
spell slot?
cast at that level.
Okay.
I just couldn't remember what level your spell slots were.
Yeah, 5. So that is going to be at 26.
That hits it.
Excellent. Just give me. That's going to be 8. Wait, what? I get numbers confused. 8d6, not 68.
Yes, it's D6s, and that will be 8d6.
So that is 33 points of damage, and then I believe because I'm yes, I do also have a plus 5, so 38 points of damage.
All right. So here's what happens. Suddenly this room is filled with light. As Brilinya's beam of light, she just nobody can even see exactly what happens, but Brilinya, you see it as this instantaneous illumination of the mithril in your wrists instantly channels through, and this massive beam just blasts forth, striking the golem. It slams into the western wall and keeps going as it breaks through the secret door that was concealed by the wall, flying into a hallway and collapsing in a clatter of loose plates as you hear the armor now mysteriously empty, as you see bits of flesh sort of like flash paper from the radiant energy, and you hear this sound of, as the helmet goes flying, you hear ting 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 ting. It appears to be falling down some stairs for quite a ways. And then the cacophony settles down to nothing. The water has settled. You are out of combat, and a pathway has been revealed to the west. And that is where we're going to take a break, because I drank coffee at the start of the stream, and I really got to pee. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break of about 10 minutes, and then we will return to see what else is to be found on this level of the Tomb of the Nine Gods. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right, after that brief distraction by the word just left my head. Oh my god. gosh, I don't know what just happened. Scrying, that's the word I wanted. The scrying pool, and the subsequent tomb guardian that crawled out of it. There now lies before you an open path. You see the pieces of armor scattered across a 15-foot long, 5-foot wide hallway. And you see find it. You see that there is a column at the end of this 15-foot hallway. And you can just make out the beginnings of a set of stairs descending downward. But there also appears to be a couple of archways in this area. That's all you can see from where you are. You need to investigate further. Anyone?
I think Taliel would look at Vale and Kualu and even Brilinya, but Vale and Kualu are right there beside her, and she'd kind of like, oh, thank you. And then she'd see that hallway and immediately would head down it.
All right. Who's following behind Taliel?
I will.
And after Vale?
I can. Brilinya will.
Brilinya, and then Kualu bringing up the rear. The human centipede is complete. Taliel, as you get kind of stepping through the pieces of armor lying on the ground, you see no remnant of the flesh golem that was inhabiting this tomb guardian. It appears to have all burned away in the powerful radiant blast from Brilinya. But what you do see is you see that the circular chamber does have, immediately at the end of this hallway, a spiral staircase descending down into darkness, and you can see that the staircase walls are lined with unlit torches and iron sconces that are set within niches that also contain moldering humanoid skulls and bones. To the north of this circular chamber, you see, in the light of the fire that is from the burning torch on this sort of pillar of the start of this circular staircase, you see to the north an archway through which there is about a 10-foot hallway ending in a door. And to the west, there's a 15-foot hallway ending in a door.
I guess north. She would go to the north one.
Brilinya would agree and follow.
All right. There is a heavy oaken door banded with iron, closed. Do you open it? Do you check it?
I think she'd give it a quick once over for checking it before opening it.
All right. Give me an investigation check.
Yeah, not so good. That's a 3.
Perfect. You cannot tell that this door is in fact a mimic. I'm just kidding.
Awesome. So
the door appears to be perfectly clear. And you open it up, and nothing happens. I mean, the door opens, but nothing bad happens. What you do see, though, is a room that is... You are at the south end of a long rectangular room that is about 25 feet wide from west to east. It's about 60 feet long from north to south. Old wooden benches and shelves are all along the walls of this chamber, and they're covered with gears, chains, trap components, cages filled with rats. There's lit iron braziers hanging by chains from the ceiling, casting a fiery glow throughout this room. Along the north wall, there's a raised step dais with this bulky contraption sitting atop it, a sort of iron maiden attached to a network of steaming pistons, tubes, and bubbling vats of blood. You can hear the as this contraption is operating, steam periodically bursting out. And all of this is being operated by 5 of those albino dwarves masked, pulling levers and gears, moving tubes into these vats of blood. And you see, as one pulls a lever, blood begins siphoning up out of one of the vats and into this Iron Maiden contraption. For the moment, because of the loud noise in this place, the 5 dwarves have not appeared to notice you. You do also, real quick, you do notice that in the middle of the western wall, there does appear to be a staircase leading up.
Taliel would back quietly out of the room. Well, she didn't actually go in the room, but she would back up and close the door quietly.
And all of you would have heard all of these sounds, and anybody looking over Taliel's shoulder would have seen some of this. And that sound, that sort of just as soon as the door closes, it's silent.
What was that?
I don't think we want to go in there. That was... And she would briefly describe the horrific sight that she just saw. Maybe the west door.
Yeah, and no jewel.
I didn't look very hard, but I don't think there would be a jewel in there. I certainly don't want to run into those dwarves again.
It's understandable. All right, to the west.
All right. Who's leading to that door?
I'll lead.
All right. You arrive at the western door, also a heavy oak door banded with iron, closed. What would you like to do?
Give just a quick glance to see if there's any sort of trap or any sort of alarm system on the door beforehand.
All right. Give me an investigation check.
Cool, let's suck at those. That's a 2.
Looks good to you.
Looks good to me. All right. I will open the door quietly, at least as quietly as I can, or at least I'll check it to see if it's locked. But barring that, I'll just open it.
It does not appear to be locked. As you open the door, you see as you open the door, you see that candles dimly illuminate a very cluttered office. This office seems almost out of place in this otherwise horrific tomb. A skeletal songbird is seen in a filthy cage in the northeast corner. And as you open the door, it gives a half squawk, half rasp. Other furnishings include a wooden writing desk and a tall-backed chair. Anatomical drawings sketched into charcoal hang on the walls behind the desk. These drawings look like exploded views of the Tomb Guardian that you just faced. Some of the drawings include the contraption that you saw, Taliel, in the other room. Taliel, you also notice one of the drawings that is spread across the desk looks very familiar to you. It is a drawing depicting a lantern that a member of your party carried. Most notably in this room is the chair that is next to the desk. Has a withered corpse of a humanoid wearing moldy robes and a bronze mask sculpted to look like a frowning visage. Around this corpse's neck hangs a black skull-shaped amulet, and a number of severed hands are crawling around the surface of the desk and the floor. What would you like to do, Vale?
Well, if Taliel is right behind me and she saw the drawing, I mean, I'll mention it to the others what's in there. And then I'll just finish it up with, I don't know what to do on this one. Yeah, those hands don't seem very strong, but well, I'm sure that there's a way to go in there, take care of them quickly, quietly, then we can investigate. I'd be worried about that amulet, though. I wouldn't touch it. It could be cursed, or actually, we'll let Qualu touch it. Seems to be the safest idea, you know. Yeah. Cool. We're all in agreement. Wonderful.
Do I have a say in the matter?
Oh, yeah. No, you don't. All right. Now, I'll start to ease myself in.
All right, I'm just checking something real quick.
Exactly how much I'm going to get killed by?
No.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to remember where this is. Here we go. This is what I want. What was this? Oh, that's right. I remember what it was called. It's been a little while. There's something I need to check. All right, so as you're moving into the room, what is your intent? I mean, as you move in, are you going left, right? Just for reference, the room is, the door is centered in the eastern wall, and it's 25, basically a 25-foot square room, with the northwest and southwest corners being very slightly angled. Bookshelves line all of the walls, low bookshelves. The desk is sort of towards the back of the room, but kind of in the center, with that chair is turned sort of sideways and is about 10 feet away from you with the corpse in it.
All right, so I would probably go in and then shift right. I'd probably draw my weapon, keep a defensive posture aimed at the crawling claws, just as a precautionary in case they decide to attack.
All right. Who's anybody else going in after?
Taliel will follow him into the room, and she's heading towards the desk. And likewise, armed and wary of the hands crawling around.
Brilinya is going to assist Taliel with looking at the desk. Careful, avoid not stepping on these hands.
All right, Qualu.
When Qualu enters, he'll just kind of just go to the right, I imagine.
All right. As you walk into the room, the crawling claws scatter. Several of them seem to move up into the robes of the corpse, disappearing underneath it. A couple of them scatter off the table, kicking elements that are on the table off, leaping to the floor and crawling into the corners, and scrambling behind bookcases. I need Brilinya and Taliel. Give me actually I have them already. Let's see, that's off. Nope, you don't notice this because of your passive perception. None of you would notice this. As suddenly I'm trying to see what the range is. The entire center area. So I'm thinking that 15. Oh, basically the entire room is suddenly plunged into magical darkness. It's 15-foot radius. Yes. Instantly, the entire room is plunged into darkness. I need everybody to roll for initiative, and then we'll determine what you're going to do. That's Vale, what'd you get? Oh, there you guys go. Actually writing them down for me. Taliel is a 17. Walu is an 11. 22 for Vale. And Brilinya with an 11. I'll fill that there. All right, so the batting order is going to be Vale, the darkness, or something in the darkness. Taliel, Brilinya, and Qualu. Vale, what are you doing as soon as you're plunged into darkness?
So I assume that magical darkness I still can't see.
Correct. It is magical darkness, so it is absolute darkness.
All right. Okay. Then I will kind of close my eyes for a second, and I'll kind of like bring my hand up to the hilt of my other hand up to the basket of the rapier, kind of concentrate, and I'm going to cast Dispel Magic.
Nice.
So I guess I literally am going to attack the darkness.
Nice.
I know I hate myself too. I hate myself for that.
I appreciate that one. This is an appropriate use of that. I'm just checking to see.
So if it's third level or lower, the spell ends. But if it's 4th level or higher, I'm gonna have to make an ability check using my spellcasting ability.
The spell is 2nd level.
There you go.
So all of you suddenly see, and Brilinya and Taliel, you realize that the corpse with the bronze mask is now standing next to you. Vale, is that the entirety of your action?
Yeah, because I'm assuming because I can make 2 attacks, but I mean that's really an action, not an attack. So yeah, that would be the end of it. So I can't do anything else.
All right, then it is this dude's turn. And he is going to, as he stands up, he is going to reach out to choice C within he just sort of hovers his hand up in front of your face, Brilinya, and you feel this wave pulse over you as he utters a spell in a raspy voice. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, my best ability. I'm gonna use a domain die because I got a nat 1.
Oh no.
That wasn't much better. That's a 4.
All right, so that's 14, 15, 16, 23, 26, 27, 28, and I need to roll 2 more. 38. 43. As he does this, you watch as Brilinya, you see this right next to you, Taliel. Brilinya, in her face, she grows pale, alabaster white, and all of her veins turn black, and you just see this necrotic energy leak. Wait, are you immune to necrotic damage or just resistant to it?
Resistant.
I just remembered that. So you see this. So the 43 will actually become a 22. As this starts to run through Brilinya's body, and you see that she appears to be almost decaying before you. But something in her eyes, there's a flash, and she pushes back against it, and it doesn't extend any further as you were just hit with a blight spell, Brilinya. And that is all he can do at the moment. So, it is now Taliel's turn.
Get behind me, Brilinya. And Taliel is going to, with 2 hands on this longsword, will try to slash at this creature in front of her, this dead thing. 2 attacks. Okay, so the first one is a 14.
That hits as you slash in, and you see through these moldering robes underneath is still old but intact studded leather.
Perfect. And the second attack is a 21. So
yep, 2 hits.
2 hits. 4. The first one is 13 points of magical slashing, and the other one is 4 points.
A total of 17.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You slash into him, and he does appear to recoil, though you can't judge his reactions based on this bronze mask that's in this perpetually frowning face.
And that is the end of my turn. I'm going to make sure I stand between it and Brilinya, so that she's behind me.
All right. And Brilinya, it is your turn.
How much space is there between Taliel and this thing?
He's
pretty close.
literally right in front of you. Like, when he put his hand up, his hand was right in front of your face when he cast the spell.
Okay. All right. So Brilinya is going to I think she is going to cast Eldritch Blast, even though it's at disadvantage.
Okay. So both barrels?
Yep.
Both barrels point blank, disadvantage?
Ooh, that one definitely doesn't hit. That one, maybe. That is a 10 on the die, so 21 to hit.
Yeah, that maybe hits. Yes, that hits. I mean, that's a fair question on the second level of the tomb.
I mean, you never know. Okay, and then that is going to do 9 points of damage.
All right.
And as a bonus action, I imagine that with these, with her mithril scars, she takes them and they glow up, and I can imagine there's still a little bit of this like black radiant energy around her mouth, and almost as if she had something on her mouth, she goes to wipe it away as she uses her last healing light on herself.
All right. And with that, Qualu, it is your turn.
Qualu again just brings down the hammer, so to speak, with his staff of striking upon this creature. If he's able to get up there and reach him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be 2 strikes.
Indeed.
23 and a 27 to hit.
Yep, both of those are going to hit.
Yep. So it's going to be 13 magical bludgeoning for the first one, and 14 magical bludgeoning for the second one. 13 and 14 for 27 total.
27 totals. All right. So I would like, I'm going to roll a d4. That's going to be Megan. Roll me 1d12.
Two.
All right. So there is a total of 5 crawling claws that suddenly skitter out from under his robes and from behind the bookcases and begin to come towards all of you. And 2 of them are going to attack you, Brilinya. The rest of you are going to get hit by 1 each, or rather attacked by 1 each. So Brilinya, the one attacking you, is a 19 to hit. And that is going to be 4 points of slashing damage as it slices at your ankles. Vale, the one coming at you leaps and slams into a bookshelf and completely misses you. Taliel, that is a 22 to hit for 4 points of bludgeoning damage as this disconnected fist leaps up and punches you in the gut. Qualu, that is going to miss you, I believe, a 9.
Yeah, a 9 will miss. Very close, though.
And then the last one comes out from under the robe, skitters up the desk, leaping off in a fist form at you, Brilinya. And you manage to get your arm up and just sort of deflect it away as it goes flying. But there are now 5 crawling claws crawling their way around this room, and it is this mysterious figure's turn. And you watch as he reaches up and grasps the black skull at his throat. And as he touches it, there's a boom, and he vanishes. And you know what?
Yeah.
That is a good point, because I was looking at the wrong mark here. Vale, you actually, as you see him reaching for the black skull, you get to take a turn.
Oh yeah, I'm going.
I'm like, what do you mean? I thought it said, where did Vale go?
Yeah, I'm gonna attack him.
Yeah, speak up when I skip one of you, especially in critical fights. Just shout it out. But yeah, Vale, you are up.
All right. Oh, that's a 25 to hit.
That is indeed going to hit.
All right. And we are looking at 11 points of magical piercing damage.
Yes. That is bad. Sorry. I was going to say yes, that hits, but we've already established that hits.
All right. And then I'm going to attack again. All right, and that's going to be a 22 to hit.
I'm just checking. Yeah, that's going to hit.
Okay.
I was looking to see what reactions we had here, but
right.
We don't.
And I am also going to use a Divine Smite. Bloop. So, first it is 12 points of magical piercing. And then it's going to be 8 points of radiant damage. Pew pew.
So a total of 20 points of damage.
Yarp.
Vale, what does it look like when you kill this mysterious figure?
I imagine as he's clutching for it and he looks at this skull pendant, suddenly through his hands, he just sees this blade penetrating through his hand, causing him to kind of drop the pendant, and then watching this blade quickly retract from his hand, like that really gross scene in the Bourne Identity when the dude pulls the pen out of his hand. Oh God, I was feeling that thing for a week. And then as he kind of turns and looks, you just see in one of the eye holes of the mask, the blade just kind of right through. And just a kind of like brief, like kind of a undulating spark of green energy kind of shoots into the eye mask, and pulling it out, he just kind of crumples to the ground.
As he does so, the crawling claws all skitter around for a moment and then flop, useless, to the ground. A little more than 5 severed hands now lying on the floor in this room. You have defeated this individual, whoever he may have been, and you are free to toss his office as you will.
Actually, I think it's safe to say that I just killed like 6 enemies in one attack. So I'm the greatest.
Had either Taliel or Brilinya found anything in his desk before?
You had barely had time to even look at anything on it when the wall, or rather the globe of darkness, had appeared.
Okay. So I think Brilinya would continue with that search on the desk.
All right, I'm going to tell you in a moment what you find. I just have to. All right, working. Come on. One of those cases where you guys were shifting so quickly. I have over a dozen windows open. In D&D Beyond. I'm trying to find a certain entry. There we go. That's 2 words, not 1 word. Difference. Well, that's not. That's. Yeah, that's weird. So as you're searching the desk, you do find a number of you find journals that are there it is, that seem to be outlining the history of Omu and the Tomb of the Nine Gods, much of which you already know from things that you've learned. Some of it seems very familiar. Let me see here. You learn about the tragic history of Omu. Let's see, you already knew this about it once being a great city that had fallen when Ubtao abandoned it. You know about the 9 trickster gods and their fates. You learn about a few things that you didn't quite know. Omu's bloody trials drew the attention of a Serac, an arch-lich who wanders the cosmos in search of souls to harvest. The Serac is noted as being fond of death traps and seemed enraptured by the trials that were concocted by the Omuans, and they inspired him to create his own dungeon below the city. A little over a century ago, a Serac entered Omu and slew all 9 trickster gods. He then enslaved the Omuans and forced them to carve out a tomb for their defeated gods. When the tomb was complete, a Serac murdered the Omuans and sealed them in the tomb with their false gods. The Archlich resumed his odyssey across the plains, leaving the dungeon to its own devices. You learn a little bit about the rise of Rosnacy, and about the building of his tomb, and that he waged war with his undead. As I said, much of this rings familiar. Sorry, again, I'm bouncing around from. I have all these tombs open. Nope, these tabs open, and I keep switching the one that has the level we're on. That's instead of the other one. So bear with me a moment. This is the digital equivalent of the Dungeon Master flipping through the book in his notes. Come on, open. Oh, there we go. Let's see, we're in this room here. Taliel, of course, you recognize the drawing as in fact being the very lantern that you think it to be, though you see no sign of it in this room. All right, what else is in here? You do learn through looking through the notes that the individual you slayed was a wight known as Withers. Though in his former life, some of the pages of the journals are musings, almost appear to be him attempting to remember his former life as an Omuan engineer named Gora. When Acererak sacrificed his workers to the dungeon they built, it was Gora whose traps performed the best. And he talks often in these journals about being the chosen one of Acererak, and how in undeath he would have a place of honor. And Gora was transformed into Withers the White. Other things that you find in this room are the amulet of the Black Skull that hangs around his neck. There's enough items on Wither's desk to assemble a scholar's pack if somebody wanted to. You could basically find all of the components that would equal a scholar's pack. There is a book lying open on the desk that does appear to be it appears to be a tome that has incantations, components, materials, and everything involved to create golems. Who among you would be the one to pick up this book and thumb through it? It's not a bad thing. I want to see who finds something.
If Brilinya doesn't, Taliel totally would have.
Yeah, Taliel. Yep, he can.
I was going to say Qualu is. He's an avid reader and intellectual, but I'll let Taliel look at it.
As you're flipping through this book, you notice that on the back, inside back cover of this, there are... Nope, sorry. As you're flipping through that book, you notice that there's another book under it. Sorry, I was combining two entries. That appears to be a spell book. Flipping through it, there are a number of spells that have been prepared. And on the inside back cover of this book is where you find what appears to be a name. Komara Blackfire. I will paste that into the chat here for you. Komara and Blackfire are each individually underlined. Who's pulling through the drawers of the desk?
That would be Brilinya.
The desk drawers, as you're going through them, you find mostly contain dried fountain pens, torn pieces of parchment, more notes, older notes. You do find a stack next to the Manual of Golems, which, if somebody takes that, the Manual of Golems is actually a very rare book. Actually, Brilinya, you are the only one that's able to decipher the words of this book. Because you have 2 5th level spell slots, correct?
I do, yes.
So you are the only one that would be able to use it. If you choose to take it, it is called a Manual of Golems and will be found in the Manage Equipment. It'll show up as a wondrous item. As you're flipping through the desk, in addition to all of these papers, Taliel, as Brilinya is sort of setting these on the desk, you find that a number of these sort of explain, their drawings that detail pretty much what you saw in the room next door. The where the tomb dwarves were working on something. It appears to be where they make tomb guardians like the one you fought. And based on these descriptions, you can gather that there are they were building another tomb guardian. You also find notes that would lead you to believe it seemed as though Withers was trying to figure out if the ghost lantern could be used in enhancing the tomb guardians, giving you a possible idea of where you might find your ghost lantern. Brilinya, in the last drawer, as you move aside yet more old papers, there's between some papers, something heavy falls to the side. And you find it is a translucent, fist-size gray gemstone. It looks like muddy water that was solidified into the shape of this gray stone. You do not know exactly what its purpose is, nor what type, but you can sense just a gentle thrum of magical energy coming from it.
I think if she doesn't know what it is, she would turn around to the other Vale, Qualu, and Taliel and, does anyone know what this is? I can feel that it's magic, but I'm not sure what it does.
Well, I bet if we brought it back to that tomb of the frogs.
This could indeed be the jewel the plaque was talking about.
Aye.
Right.
I mean, I don't really have the know-how or wherewithal to figure out what it is. But as I carefully look at my spell list and realize that no.
No, that makes sense. That's a good idea.
Is there anything more here that we...
There's the rather ornery skeletal bird in the cage. It doesn't have any feathers, so it can't fly. It doesn't have any flesh or organs, so it's not really alive, so it can't die.
Then how's it making noise then if it doesn't have any vocal cords and doesn't require air to breathe? You know what? Thinking too much into it. It's okay. It's okay.
He said in a room,
shut up, Mike,
with dead severed hands that were just crawling around, attacking him.
Yeah, exactly.
The mask, Withers' bronze mask, and the bird look like they could be worth a little bit of gold if you wanted to tote them around.
I'll yoinks the bronze mask. Also, did we check the bookshelves or no? We did, right?
Yeah, you're just finding a lot of generic books on the history. It's kind of everything that I said about the history is sort of the combined knowledge you were able to piece together, flipping through all of these. It was consolidated in the journals that Brilinya was looking through. I need Vale and Brilinya to make me an insight check.
14.
16.
So, Vale, you would remember that... Find it here again real quick. Did I spell that right? As you're kind of looking through all of this, find the eat. having to go all the way back to. All right. Okay. You vaguely remember that the amulet of the Black Skull, its description and that name seems familiar to you. Like you remember hearing somebody mentioning it to you. Trying to see if you actually remember the player.
Wait, sorry, say it again.
You remember.
Okay.
Somebody has mentioned the amulet of the Black Skull to you. I'm trying to see if you remember, if you have it in your notes. Which is just a stalling tactic. Oh, you know what? Disregard. Damn it. And I was afraid that was going to happen. It's something else black. You think for a moment this reminds you of something that Fenthaza, the Yuan-Ti that let you go, wanted you to look for. And then you remember, nope, it wasn't a Black Skull amulet, it was a black opal crown. Sorry, that was my bad. I've been chasing this through the notes real quick because I couldn't remember. I was thinking it was the skull amulet.
If memory serves me correctly, Fenthaza is now dead.
No. No, you killed Rosnasi.
Rosnasi, that's what it was.
Fenthaza let you all go, knowing that you were attempting to defeat the Soulmonger, and asked you to look for the black opal crown while you were in the tomb.
Yeah, she's the one who helped us kill Rosnasi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
It was a coup that happened in there. So, all right. But you do have the black skull amulet as well in this room.
Can also, I guess, turn out his pockets, see if he's got any cash, see if he's got anything else other than the black skull necklace, which I kind of don't want to touch, but at the same time,
as you sift through his pockets, what you find are, I'd say you find probably 3 rings. 2 are gold, 1 is silver. The gold rings are worth about 50 gold pieces each. The silver ring is worth 25. But you first have to pull them off of the severed fingers that they are on, as you find 11 severed fingers and no thumbs in his pockets.
Fair. Yeah, I'll pull them all off. So sorry, it was how many gold rings?
2 gold rings, 1 silver ring.
And if you don't want to touch that amulet, I will.
Sounds good to me. Actually, no. I'm gonna grab it. I am gonna grab it. Not gonna let someone else possibly die. So I'm touching it. Touching it, what but good.
The amulet is carved from obsidian and shaped like a screaming humanoid skull, with ruby eyes and emeralds for teeth. It hangs on an iron chain necklace. However, wondrous though this very rare item is, Vale, you realize you are already attuned to 4 items and would not even be able to attune to this item should you wish to.
True, but my main thing is that I touched it and I didn't die, which probably means it's safe.
That is true. You did not die.
Exactly. So then I will grab it and I'll hand it over to Taliel, knowing now that it's safe because I wouldn't just, run away and let someone else take the pain.
So Taliel, he hands you this incredible looking amulet. Are you going to stow it? Are you going to put it on and attune to it?
Without knowing what it is, I think she would stow it.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say out loud since you're stowing it, but because I need you to add the amulet of the Black Skull to your inventory, you'll see what it does. Keep in mind the third paragraph of the description of it. You don't know. That's an exercise in trust, which I always trust my players to not metagame. But yeah, you'll see. This is a very interesting item. Yeah, that is the summary of what you found in Wither's office. I will add, because you did thoroughly look through all of his notes, as the engineer of this tomb, though you, much to your chagrin, do not find any detailed drawings or maps or anything that specifies the traps that lie within, Withers seems to have almost anticipated that his journals could possibly have fallen into the wrong hands and either kept them elsewhere or didn't write them down. You do learn that him and many of these tomb dwarves would, every day at dawn, they traverse the dungeon, sometimes through magical means, resetting traps, clearing away dead adventurers. It is these dead adventurers that are used to create the Tomb Guardians. And with Withers now dead, that means there's nobody to control the Tomb Dwarves and take the lead on resetting the dungeon. All right. What would you like to do now? Where are you going? You mentioned possibly going to back to the pentagram room, and there is the Tomb Guardian forge that you opened the door and immediately noped out of there.
I think Brilinya is still pretty okay with keeping that a nope area.
All right.
Is it the bloodstein that's keeping you away?
No, I just don't like the smell.
That's fair. Yeah. Boiling blood is not exactly it's like throwing a few copper bits into a pot and it just stinks.
Right. Well, should we get this orb over to that room? See if it works.
Well, I don't know what really stinks.
You.
Yeah.
Fair. While we're walking, Brill, you want to see if there's anything more you can glean off of that gray gem jewel thing?
Yes.
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 I'm trying to see if I have anything magically. But I don't think I do. I think all I could do is do an Arcana check on it. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, sure. You can do a Arcana check.
That would be great. 5. So it's an orb.
I will also say that Since he's dead, I guess it doesn't matter that you see some of this info. I'm just going to paste from here. This is the spells that are in that spell book that you found as well. I realized I forgot to give you those. Yeah, so you're not really picking up a whole lot about what the purpose of this muddy gray stone is.
Yeah. I'm really not finding anything. I have kind of an idea, though. There is a spell that I can cast that will allow me to create a circle, possibly around this, whatever it is. And if there's anything undead in it, it can't leave the circle. It'll take me a while to make. I don't know if it's worth it.
Well, what if we just put the gem in the center of the circle?
You mean on top of the sarcophagus?
Well, in the circle of salt. I mean, isn't that the room that was supposed to bring the gem to?
Yeah, but isn't in the middle of it the sarcophagus?
No, I thought it was just around the pentagram. Or am I
So
Yeah.
let me do something real quick. Because I want to make sure that you all know exactly what you're dealing with.
For the record, I've been really good these past 2 years, especially after getting beyond, that I have not looked at the module yet. Just want to make that clear.
I appreciate that. I believe Connor and Megan have a copy of it that lies unopened on their bookshelf.
It's hard.
Uncracked.
It's so hard.
So I need to... Whoops. What I'm going to do is I'm getting the player version. D&D Beyond is awesome that they have both player and... I think... Just checking. You know what? I think you guys have actually... Yep, okay. So you've been there. I can show this. I'm not going to show you the whole map, but I'm going to send you in our Facebook Messenger group just this room, so you have the layout as you head there. So, ooh, there's so many tabs open right now. Here we go. I'll make sure I don't suddenly send it to the wrong person in a different chat. And they're like, "What's this? Why are you sending me a pentagram?" Sorry, Aunt Sue.
Okay.
So, in that you can see sort of that little dark spot to the left of the pentagram. That's the hallway from the secret door that you guys come through.
Ah, right.
So the sarcophagus lies in the dead center of the pentagram. The circle and the pentagram are made of salt.
That's some damn fine salt sculpture there.
So
I assume we're ignoring that skull, right?
Yes, I didn't. I completely didn't pay attention to see if it was in there. That actually, I moved it out into the hallway.
Okay.
That's the skeleton key.
Ah.
They show up all over the map because I can put them wherever I want.
Nice.
It's just a suggestion.
Eef.
All right. So you do manage to make it. I think we've established that Qualu and Vale lift the door to let you guys through. There's no new skeletons, no new zombies have replaced or anything. And and you make your way back to the pentagram without incident. You stand before the pentagram, having acquired this mysterious gray gem. What are you going to do?
Taliel will take the gem from Brilinya if she doesn't mind, and will carefully step over the salt line, not breaking it, but she'll step into the circle.
That is completely fine with Brilinya.
What are you doing with the gem? Are you like holding it out in front of you? Are you clutching it in two hands? How are you holding this gem?
How big is it? Like, would it fit in one hand?
It's about the size of a softball. A grapefruit.
Okay, so she'd probably be holding it in one hand.
A really big yucca beetle.
She'll be holding it in one hand, with her hand on her sword with the other hand.
As you step into the circle, breaking the circle, you see a section of the pentagram. You actually all would sort of notice there's just this shimmer in the room. And though the salt has been this entire time laying on the ground and forming this, it's almost as if there was a like micro, like nano scale air between all the grains. As it appears the entire pentagram just sort of settles as Taliel steps through it. And then immediately in front of Taliel, that portion of pentagram is disturbed as if something has passed through it. And becoming visible as it attacks you, Taliel, you see this horrific frog-like creature with spikes along its hands, talons, rows and rows of sharp teeth, a spiny ridge coming down its head. And it holds in its hands... Actually, I don't think it would have it in its hands yet. But across its back is a massive greatsword. And this all comes into view as it takes 3 attacks at you, Taliel. The first attack with its claws is a dirty 20 to hit. The second attack is a 15 to hit. The third attack, as it attempts to bite you, it misses with that. That's only a 10. So it's only going to hit you with the 1 claw attack for 5 points of slashing damage. And its mouth, as it slashes at you, its mouth extends even wider, and in your head it says, "I will pry that from your dead fingers," as it reaches up to draw the great sword. And it's your choice. Do you want to go through this fight now, or do you want to wait until next week? This is for all of you. Megan says now. Connor says let's do it. Okay. Everybody roll for initiative.
Nat 1, baby. Oh, yeah.
All right, so...
Can I rescind my opinion that we should go with this fight after rolling on that one?
Let's see. That's all right. So we've got a 10 from Vale. Taliel has a 19. 2 from Qualu and a 22 from Brilinya. So the order is going to be Brilinya, Taliel, the gray frog-like creature, Vale, and Qualu.
I think we all know what it is. You can just call it what it is.
You, the players, all know what it is, perhaps, but
it's the Grim Reaper.
Your characters,
sorry, the Grung Reaper.
None of your characters have ever encountered a Slod before.
Nope, I read the monster manual, so I'm puckered.
And you've already seen that it can rapidly attack 3 times. Brilinya, what are you going to do as this thing, as Taliel broke the magic circle of the pentagram and freed this creature, and it attacks her? What do you do?
I think out of more reflexes than actual thought, Brilinya outstretches her hand, her mithril scars glowing, but instead of radiant energy or some sort of attack coming out, you see this gust of wind, almost like a tornado, a funnel coming out from her fingertips, forming and twisting in this ever-growing just funnel of air until it begins to take shape. It begins to form almost this humanoid without feet. It's kind of still attached to Brilinya's hand as she conjures an elemental, an air elemental. And it rolls its own initiative, and Brilinya would command it to attack the frogman.
So its initiative is?
Its initiative is going to be 16.
So with a 16 for the air elemental, the new order is Brilinya, Taliel, air elemental, Vale, and Qualu. So it goes before Vale. So is that all you're doing, Brilinya?
Yes.
All right, Taliel. You are in immediate close melee range with this thing because it attacked you.
So I think her first instinct is to slash at it with the longsword that she had been gripping, probably twice, followed by she's going to shove that orb into its mouth.
You're going to shove the gray gem into its mouth.
Yeah. I'm just going to try. Mm-hmm.
All right, so make a longsword attack.
Okay. Oh, nat 20.
Oh, nice. So crits are automatic max damage, which includes your modifiers, and then roll your damage dice one more time and add that.
So that'll be 20 points of magical slashing.
All right, and then make a melee attack to see if you can jam this gemstone into its mouth.
I got 17 on the die. My strength is +1, so
an 18 total. Let me get rid of a couple of these tabs because I don't need couple of these open anymore. This is just driving me nuts. There's so much on here. I actually see what I'm doing. It was an 18 total.
Yeah, I didn't add any proficiency bonus or anything. Just
you jam your hand into its mouth while it's open, recoiling from the slash, and withdraw your hand. Are you leaving the gem in its mouth?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I was shoving it down its gullet.
Okay,
yeah.
So you jam it into the back of its mouth. And pull your hand out, leaving it behind.
And I'd like to then do the second long sword attack.
Your second attack was basically attacking it with the gemstone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So then that would be Nope. I was gonna say that was be Taliel. No. It is the Slod's turn. The Slod, you watch.
It is the air elemental's turn.
No. The air elemental goes next. The order is Brilinya, Taliel.
Oh, okay.
The Slod, then the air elemental, Vale, and Qualu. Because the Slod got an 18 on its initiative. You watch as it reaches back and draws this great sword. With its tongue, you see this incredibly long tongue emerge from its mouth, Taliel, wrapped around this gray gem. And it just sort of licks its forehead. And as the gem passes across its forehead, the tongue releases it, and the gemstone actually goes and absorbs into its forehead. You hear 2 words in your brain. Thank you. And then it attacks you, taking 2 swipes with its greatsword. That is going to be a 15 and a 25.
The 15 misses, but the 25 sure hits.
Oh, good lord. I rolled 2 1s on damage. You take 5 points of slashing damage from the greatsword. And then it lunges at you and attempts to bite you for a natural 4. It misses you. The greatsword is between it and you, and it fails. But at this close range, you notice that as it began attacking you, the slash you put across it with your longsword is already beginning to heal. And it is now the air elemental's turn.
The air elemental is going to move into the space that the frog man is in. And you, Taliel, will see your hair is like whipping around and turning as you see this elemental almost engulf this frog, and the frog must make a DC 13 strength saving throw.
It's a 17 on the die.
I'm gonna get you to reroll that for 2.
I could already see it in your eyes. I knew it was coming. Re-rolling that, the new number is a 14.
Dang it. Okay. Then that's it.
So it's just swirling around with air.
Yes.
Okay, Vale, you are up.
Well, just looking at the map, you know what? I'm just going to leap in, and I'm going to attack.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna make 2 attacks. Not surprising. First one is oh no, that's not right. There we go. The first one's going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
That will hit.
All right. And that'll be for 8 points of magical piercing damage.
All right.
Make a second hit. Oh, no. Oh. Damn it. I screwed that up. Screwed up my whole turn. That's a well. My bad. Anyway. Second one is a 10 to hit. No, excuse me, a 12 to hit.
That one's not going to hit.
Yeah.
As it has on the back of its, coming off the back of its hand, it has these long talons, and it blocks your attack, parries it with that. Qualu, unless you have something else you're going to do, Vale.
I was going to do something, but it requires A, a full action, and B, because I don't really know the enemy, it's not really fair for me to do it, but at the same time, it's like, one of those. So...
Does it have to do with being based on what type of creature it is?
Yeah.
Well, it's true. You did already engage your action, so you've eliminated that ability.
Yeah. No,
but
I wasn't.
I would allow you to make an intelligence check. I would say, I'm actually going to make it be a religion check. I mean, it's intelligence with your religion modifier, to determine what its type is.
Funny enough, 16.
It is a that it's an aberration.
Oh, okay, so not one of the holy or unholy creatures.
Yeah, it's not a fiend, devil, undead, any of that.
Gotcha.
So now, Qualu, it is your turn.
Aberration or not, it could get smacked in the skull. Smack, smack, smack. This thing being Qualu will smack it in the skull. As I go for my 2 attacks that I get, which will be a domain dice and a 17. Domain dice turns it into a 22. So 22 and 17.
All right, so the 22 will hit. The 17 will miss.
All right. Smacking some of these big forces charges here. All right. That's going to be... oh, goodness. Okay, so that'll be 12 points of magical bludgeoning with 12 points of force damage. And then I will use my action surge to do that all again.
Okay.
Which is a 31 to hit and a 23 to hit.
Yes.
You gotta miss the first time just to triangulate.
Yes, those both hit.
So that's... So I've spent 3 more charges. How many charges can I spend per... Oh, just per hit. Oh, cool. All right, I will do another big smack here. That's a reroll. Perfect. So that's going to be 13 points of magical bludgeoning with 10 points of force for the first hit.
Okay.
Then the second hit will be Oh, goodness. 11 points of magical bludgeoning with 14 points of force.
All right. You see that you've put a hurt on this thing. You've actually broken a couple of its ridge spines and one of its talons on its arm. You've blackened its eye, knocked out a couple teeth. This thing's in pretty bad shape. And if you're done, that's going to take us back to the top of the order, which is Brilinya. You are up.
Brilinya is going to, as per usual, now that the wind is gone from her hand, she outstresses both of them and lets off 2 Eldritch Blasts. It's a 27 and a 24 to hit, doing 27 points of damage. And pushing it back 20 feet.
Okay. Let's see. So you were just inside there. 5, 10, 15. Yeah, you push it all the way across the pentagram to the far boundary of the pentagram circle. At this point, well, I should say where it was, because when you summoned your air elemental, it sort of, the salt began flying around the room, pretty much dissipating the pentagram. So it is pushed away. Would that
enable an opportunity attack from the air elemental?
Forced movement doesn't trigger.
No, I was going to say, because it's forced movement, it's not it trying to leave, so it's not an opportunity attack.
Okay, sounds good.
So, after Brilinya is Taliel. It is now 20 feet away from you.
Taliel will close in and still with that longsword will try to put a couple of more slashes into its body. Meanwhile, saying, why didn't it work? That was supposed to work. Okay, so that will be a 24 and a 26.
Those are both going to hit.
Okay. Each will do 12 points of magical slashing. So 24.
Taliel, how do you want to end this gray slod?
I think in desperation, she follows this where Brilinya's spell had pushed it back to, and she just, without really even thinking tactically or anything, she is just slashing at it, trying to put it down. And I don't even think it's very glorious or beautiful or anything. It's just like she gets up there, she slashes across, and then maybe she sticks the second one into its gut, but somehow it just dies right then and there on her blade. And she slowly pulls it out and it crumples to the ground. And she's kind of looking at it like almost bewildered that that was all it took.
And it falls dead to the ground. As it does so, its body seems to just sort of almost like a slime. It still basically has its shape, but it just seems to, and you're out of combat. There's no more pentagram left, but the sarcophagus is now in the middle.
So I'm just saying we could, I think, get the air elemental to open up the sarcophagus if we wanted to. No one wants to touch it. Maybe.
I kind of like that idea.
I don't know.
It's here for an hour, I think. I'm just trying to look. Why can't I see it?
I believe it's an hour whenever you summon an elemental.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I don't know why I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, and I have to keep concentration with it. So, and I can tell it what to do. So do we do it? Do we make the...
Mm.
Here. Okay. I think then Brilinya would command mentally this air elemental to go and try and open the sarcophagus.
Okay, you want it to open the sarcophagus. As it moves towards the sarcophagus, there are still the 12 figurines, painted wooden statuettes of grungs in various states of dancing around. You're close enough to it. You can see that while cute, these statues are worthless.
Then I think they would just like kind of fly around the room with this air elemental getting closer and closer to the sarcophagus.
The air elemental needs to make an athletics check to open the sarcophagus.
Okay. Ooh, that's a nat 20 for 22.
All right.
It just
okay.
flips the table.
The lid comes up, and there's a scattering of dust from inside, and you can see that there is a varnished clay urn that is inside the sarcophagus.
What do we want to do now?
Probably go in and have a look at it. And I'll walk to the urn in the sarcophagus, have a look at it.
Vale, the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Vale's taken on all of the trickster gods.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
matter of fact, if this is Kubazan, oh no, this wouldn't be Kubazan.
No, you've already determined that this was Ning Ning.
Yeah. I'll slap a grung.
Wow, that definitely sounds like a euphemism.
Maybe.
All right. So you're gonna grab the urn. Is that what you're doing?
I mean, I'll have a look at it. I'm not I want to look at it first. Like I'm not going to be
okay. I was just saying. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's a varnished urn. You can see inside it are some small bones that look amphibious, probably of the animal form of Nang Nang the Grung.
Anything else in the sarcophagus, or just the urn?
You see that there is what looks to be a very ornate crystalline bottle containing a shimmering red liquid that you already know to be what healing potions look like. But this healing potion looks to be more than ordinary. It's greater, it's superior. Well, it's just the supreme form of a healing potion. You also see a petrified grung egg.
All right, I'll just go over to over my shoulder and all right, come have a look at this. It's safe. I'm not dead yet.
Taliel would go over and peer in as well.
Yep, you see all these same items. The wind, your hair is all whipping in the wind of the air elemental at this point. You have to talk a little bit louder, I imagine. As the air elemental, just its being, it sounds like a really loud fan.
Can we maybe banish the elemental? Maybe send them away or something?
No, I can't. If I lose my concentration on him, he might turn against us. So he's here for the hour.
All right then.
But then. I command him to go wait in the other room.
Okay. He disappears into that hall, which is now, that narrow hallway is now cleared of all cobwebs.
Yeah.
I'm also cleaning a Sarak's tomb.
Meet the new Withers. All right,
doing the hard work.
You've got a large petrified grung egg, what appears to be a potion of supreme healing, and this urn with the bones in it.
Somebody grab what they need to. I have everything I need.
If Vale doesn't grab it, Taliel will reach in to take the healing potion.
Okay.
Carefully. Worried that at any moment something's going to happen. But take it nonetheless.
Okay, you reach in and you grab a hold of the bottle and now have a potion of supreme healing in your possession. Which, for those keeping score at home, that's the one that heals 10d4 plus 20 hit points.
That is super healing right there. Well, until you roll all ones, and then it's like some bullshit. I mean, I guess I'll grab the egg. Why not?
All right.
So someone else is gonna grab it. Anybody want to? No? Okay.
As you grab the egg, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
I knew I put my dice away too soon. There we go. All right. And that is a 19.
As you touch the egg, a tendril of slime rises from its surface and transforms into a frog-like head that bobs towards you. A croaking voice sounds out into your mind. Lang, we'll help you now. And it seems to try to lunge and get in, but it seems to hit an invisible barrier. And it looks at you right in the face. Lang hates you. And back into the egg as you've resisted yet another trickster god, but you now have in your possession a petrified grung egg that functions as a pearl of power, which you'll either have to decide if you want to swap out with something or give to somebody else because you cannot attune to any more items.
Qualu, I found a friend for you.
You would know that it's only usable by a spellcaster.
Oh,
Qualu is in need of a friend.
Yeah, never mind.
How dare you never mind? You got my attention. You got the offering of a friend in front of me.
I know.
Let me push my spectacles up at you, sir.
I'll give it to either Taliel or Brill or whoever wants it. Look.
Brill, I'm not a spellcaster.
Okay.
I thought you were. I don't know why. Here you go, Brill. I don't know why. I thought you were a sorcerer for some reason. Like
That's
the
just
drugs are
Kaeryn.
kicking in.
That's just Kaeryn.
Oh, right. That's what it is.
Brilinya,
I
need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh no. Okay. Do my luckiest die.
Which is a D6.
So that's it.
Domain die?
25.
Ooh.
Nang Nang emerges again, the spirit. Will you accept my help? And you resist him. Nang Nang hates you too. You now have a pearl of power.
You know what? Maybe you should just let him in. He sounds like he just wants to help. You know.
You now have a pearl of power that, as an action, when you speak its command word, it will allow you to regain one expended spell slot. If it is of 4th level or higher, the new slot is only 3rd level. You can only use it once at dawn. Or once per day, and then it regains at dawn. All that's left in the sarcophagus is the urn with the bones.
I think Brilinya would pick it up.
I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, this die did well for me.
I think you're gonna hate this dungeon some more.
I already... Oh, no. Can I use a domain die?
Yep.
I don't want an instant die. Oh, okay. Nope, never mind. That's a 10.
Okay. Brilinya starts to pick up this this urn. And in your head, you suddenly hear it sounds like a very discordant, percussive music that can't land on any particular beat. And you immediately begin dancing uncontrollably to the rhythm that you hear. Brilinya begins to suddenly lurch, taking a slide step, and then it's halfway between this sort of dubstep dancing and that scene in Beetlejuice when Beetlejuice possesses the family and they're Deo. Brilinya, in addition to this, I'm looking to see if you get to... Okay, so in addition to this, you are going to take some damage. Because this discordant music in your head... I gotta find it here. You are taking 9 points of psychic damage. Now, fortunately, this happened outside of combat. However, this magical spell lasts for 1 minute. So I need you to make a saving throw.
Wisdom.
A wisdom saving throw again.
22 this time.
Wow. You needed a 21 to beat this. So you only take the one round. So for just a few seconds, Brilinya does this bizarre dance and then finishes with a sort of flourish of her vestments and a half bow, and is in this weird, very almost contorted position when the music just suddenly stops with an echoing and you all see this for a few seconds. Brilinya did this bizarre dance. Brilinya, you are out of breath.
Yeah, Brilinya immediately just stands up rigid. Her face goes like crimson red.
Nice moves you got there.
Shall we go?
Yes, please.
Right.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. I so desperately wanted somebody to grab that urn. That spell, by the way, is called Otto's Irresistible Dance. It is an actual 5th edition spell. That is a bard or wizard spell. Of course, it's a bard spell.
I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
Nope, you were just making a saving throw versus uncontrollable dance. But that's a fair
bard-like.
assumption. So, in addition to all of your wonderful treasures and everything, you have all now leveled to 11. So, I would like you each to real quickly, if you choose to roll, you can roll your hit points right now to see what your hit point increase is. If you roll, then you take the number. If you roll a 1, you can re-roll it. Or you can take the average if you don't want to roll. Connor got a 7, so what's that increase you? What's your con?
I have +3 cons. That's 10 more hit points.
10 more hit points. What's your con, Brilinya?
0,
So 7 more hit points for Brilinya.
which puts me up to 69.
All right.
I guess I'll roll. Why not? Give her. Oh, hey. That's not bad at all. Rolled a 6. And I got a con +4, so it's another 10.
Another 10 HP for Vale. What are you doing, Taliel?
I'm feeling the pressure. I don't like rolling though, so I'm going to take the average.
Okay. All right. Well, when we return next, that will be session 54. And you guys have just about cleared all of the rooms. You found all of the rooms that you found that have obvious pathways to them. You do have a sarcophagus that you have not opened, though Brilinya saw inside there was a sign. And you know of at least 3 sets of stairs. One in the closed forge room, where they make the Tomb Guardians. The spiral staircase that led down outside of Wither's study. And the stairs that lead down in the grand foyer. So we'll see where you all go next time around. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight or who is watching this later on. And thank you, of course, as always, to Mike, Kaeryn, Megan, and Connor for another wonderful night of imagination and make-believe. Tune in the rest of the week to see if we're going to be playing some Waterdeep Dragon Heist tomorrow night with Mike as the DM. Tuesday night will be the return of Legends and Legacies, Tales of Phandelver, and Thursday night there will not be a Dawnbringers game as we are down 3 players. So that's what's going on this week. We'll see you when we see you. We're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
A level 11.